What's good, Silver Squad, and welcome back to the Silver Site. My name is RJ, and today I'm going to be reviewing Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is now in theaters. It stars Simu Liu, Awkwafina, Tony Leung, Chi Wai, and is centered around martial arts master Shang-Chi confronting a past he thought he left behind as he's drawn into the web of the mysterious Ten Rings organization. Now, I have to say, I went into this movie with really high expectations. Not only did this movie meet my expectations, it exceeded them. Yes, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings was definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. I had such a good time watching this movie. I left the theater feeling better than I went out. I left better than when I came in. I left this theater on such a high that I cannot wait for what comes next for Shang-Chi. Now, this review that I'm doing right here, the one that you're watching currently, is a spoiler-free review. If you want to join our spoiler discussion, we'll be going live on YouTube and Facebook not this Sunday, but next Sunday, September 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, so you don't miss out, I encourage you to tap that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that way you're alerted when we do go live. We want to have a discussion with you guys, open, honest opinions about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. We always have a good time on live with you guys. Can't wait for you to join us. But without further ado, you know the vibes. Let's get into review. We always start out with the good here at the Silver Site. So the three things that stood out to me the most were the fight choreography, the storytelling / writing, and the overall tone of the film. We'll get into detail about the tone later because I feel like that's what really made this movie for me, was its balanced tone. But let's start out with something that I noticed almost immediately, which was the fight choreography. So what I liked about the fight choreography is it did keep up a fast pace. It would everybody's offense was very, very unique, and I felt like they had a great use of the surrounding environment, and they incorporated that really well into the martial arts. Everyone had this amazing fluidity of movement. Every character, although they seem to be trained in the similar forms of martial arts, everybody kind of had their own style of fighting, and I felt like that's kind of what made me hype about it. It didn't feel like a bunch of generic martial arts moves thrown into, the script or thrown into a scene just for the sake of having fight scenes. And I felt like every character had such a unique fighting style, and it really individualized the character. And it made me kind of wonder, like, who could beat who in a one-on-one, no prep time scenario. Definitely was one of the most enjoyable things about this movie was the fight choreography. Another thing that I liked about this movie was the storytelling and writing. Where the audience was brought into the story kind of reminded me of what Mortal Kombat was trying to do. They tried to bring the audience in through a flashback to kind of help establish the world and set expectations for what the film and what the characters are capable of, all while giving the audience a compelling story. But I feel like where Mortal Kombat failed was that whatever was ahead of us wasn't compelling enough to keep our attention. Whereas with Shang-Chi, the story that was unfolding in front of us, although we were really interested to see what happened in the past, we were more interested in the story that we're going to tell that was unfolding on the screen for us. And I feel like that was kind of what made Shang-Chi all flow so well, is that, we had that, we were fed these flashbacks in this film, but we weren't so focused on the prelude and what happened leading up to that. We were really, this is really a forward movie, and I had such a good time, watching the story unfold. The utilization of flashbacks, the way they were placed throughout the movie definitely helped piece things together. The story felt like they put the flashbacks at the right time instead of just throwing them throughout the movie. They felt like they were strategically placed, because there were instances where I was like, I wonder why this is happening, or why he's the way he is, or why she feels the way she feels. And then as soon as I thought that, boom, we were fed a flashback. So I felt like the writing or the way the story was laid out and the way the flashbacks were laid out were very intentional, and it made the movie enjoyable because it didn't leave me to kind of piece things together in my own mind. And it kind of leaves I'll just say this, Candyman, I felt like it kind of made the audience have to piece things together ourselves. And that's to me, that just was terrible. I didn't like, not the movie, that in itself was terrible. But I feel like the way Shang-Chi allowed us to think a little bit, but then showed us what went on, and, you know, reveal to us why things are happening the way they're happening, or why they happen the way they happen. You know, I felt like that was such a good way to tell the story. I really enjoyed the way this story unfolded in this film. We got to see why relationships between characters are the way they are. It kind of helped flesh things out. It brought the relationships. It made us buy the relationships as the viewers, and this is kind of why I felt invested in a lot of characters. There was one character that I really wasn't that invested in, and I feel like that just lies in the writing, because there really wasn't enough time to flesh everybody out, or to get each character to connect to the audience in their own individual ways. But, you know, there's going to be a sequel, and I'm sure we'll have time to delve deep into these characters. So that's not really anything that's too nitpicky, but I'll get to that when I talk about my cons in the movie. Tone. What I liked about the tone of this movie, everybody who knows me knows my biggest critique of Marvel is the poorly placed comedy and the poorly placed jokes. Now, I gotta be real, y'all. When I saw the trailer and I found out Awkwafina was in this movie, I rolled my eyes so hard I could see my brain. Like, that's how bad I rolled my eyes. And it's no disrespect to Awkwafina, but sometimes her characters can be really annoying. I don't like when people say, oh, I hate her voice, because you can't help how you sound. And I think that's unfair, and I don't think she has an annoying voice. I feel like the characters that she plays are annoying characters, like Raya in The Last Dragon. The dragon got on my nerves the entire thing, this entire movie, but here I didn't really feel that way. I have to, like I said, I have to admit, I'm not the biggest Awkwafina fan. We'll get into that on another video at another time, at another place, because I don't have time right now. But I'll say that she really did well in this movie. Like I said, Marvel has a terrible habit of breaking tension with the jokes for me, and that takes away the film. But this film does a great job of pacing the jokes so that way the audience doesn't get joke fatigue. And what I mean by joke fatigue is, you ever seen a movie or a Marvel movie to you that just has one too many jokes in it? That's how I feel about Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And I feel like for this movie, what it did was it kind of let the tension ride out, and where there were moments where things were serious and the stakes were high, they didn't throw a joke in there, or if they threw a joke in there, it was placed in that scene in such a way that the tension was not broken, or you didn't feel like they weren't in danger. And I think that's kind of what sets this movie apart from a lot of the Marvel movies. It was honestly refreshing. I don't know if they've been watching FTB or For the Blurchers Lives that we have here, and you know how I complain about that a lot. I don't know if they've been listening, but I'm glad they did something a little different with this movie and kind of paced the jokes out, paced them out a little bit, man, because after a while you just get tired of like laughing at, you know, silliness. Like I said, I rolled my eyes when I found Awkwafina was going to be in this movie, but her performance in this movie was, you know, I have to give credit to her. You know, her comedic timing, was amazing. And also her dramatic acting. I really connected with her character throughout the film. And I have to say that I thought she was going to be the weak link in this film, where she was going to she was going to be the thing, her character was going to be the thing in this film that made me not like the film. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm stuttering and stuff like that. I'm tired, y'all. I done recorded this thing like 4 times. I had collard greens in my teeth at one point. I had to record the whole thing all over. I'm tired, so let's go ahead and get through this. Another thing I like about this film was the climax. Look, the climax of this film is no joke. Some people will say it's over the top. Me, for myself, I don't think it was over the top. I feel like Marvel has always had villains that have been kind of nah, and I feel like, or antagonists rather. And I feel like for the world that was built in Shang-Chi, how could you not have something that was this over the top happen in your final battle? I was on the edge of my seat for a majority of the time during this final battle. At one point, you know, Regal has the little recliners. I had to like unrecline myself and sit up because I was that invested in what was going on in front of me. I felt like they were in danger, like actual danger, a lot towards the final battle, and that's not something that I felt with Black Widow. I mean, although we knew she was going to live through it, you didn't know who else was going to die, but at the same time, I didn't really feel like they were ever in that much danger in Black Widow, whereas in Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Hidden Temple, y'all, like I told y'all, charges to my heart, I'm tired. like Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, I felt that there were plenty of times where anybody could have died at any moment. Not Shang-Chi, of course, but you know what I mean. And I feel like that just speaks to the extra layer of awesomeness that is in this movie. I felt like as the things that happened towards the end of the movie raised the stakes, it raised the risks. And I feel like that's just something that is a testament to how different this movie is from a lot of the other Marvel movies. Not to say that, you know, the final battle, the final whatever, and other Marvel movies isn't great, but the stuff that happens at the end of Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings is just amazing to me, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. Now, no movie is perfect, but I'm not gonna be nitpicky. There is one thing that I didn't really care for in this movie, and that was the lack of build between the audience and one of the characters. I felt like I wanted to see a lot more of one particular character that I didn't get. We got little glimpses and flashes of why this character is the way they are, but I feel like that was enough to kind of convey why they were the way they were. However, I don't feel like we were given all that we could have got from this one character. When they were on screen, I really enjoyed everything they did. There was a lot going on with this character that we just didn't get to unravel. But it's just something that I noticed. But like I said, there's not too much that I didn't like about Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings. I can't, you know, complain much about it. There wasn't too much that I didn't like. But I may have some other thoughts. So, you know, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. And when we go live Sunday, September 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, maybe I'll have something else to, you know, say about the movie. But for now, those are my thoughts on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. With that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, most importantly, subscribe. Later days.